Hey and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 1. A simple pendulum makes 50 oscillations in 1 minute. What is the period of oscillation? A. 0.02 seconds, B. 0.2 seconds, C. 0.83 seconds, D. 1.20 seconds, and E. 30.0 seconds. Now, period, which is known as T, is defined as the time taken to complete one oscillation. The time taken to complete one oscillation, and period T is equals to 1 all over F. Now F here represents frequency, and frequency is defined as the number of oscillation made in 1 second. So it simply means that frequency is equals to the number of oscillation, which is 50 all over the given time, and that is 60. So we can say frequency is equals to 0.83 hertz or per second. Now from this we have that period T is equals to 1 all over frequency, and like we know, we say period is the time taken to complete one oscillation, and so that will be 1 all over 0.83, and that will give us 1.20 seconds. So the answer to this question is option D, 1.20 seconds. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 2. A girl whose mass is 55 kg stands on a spring weighing machine inside a lift. When the lift starts to ascend, its acceleration is 2 meters per second. What will be the reading of the machine? Now take acceleration due to gravity, which is G, to be 10 meters per second square. A says 66 kg, B 55 kg, C 44 kg, D 22 kg, and E 11 kg. Now, the weight of the girl will be equals to mass times acceleration to gravity, that's in the lift now, that is mg, and that will be equals to 55 times 10, which is equals to 550 newton. Now the reaction due to ascending lift will be equals to the mass of the girl times the acceleration of the lift, and that is equals to 55 times 2, which is equals to 110 newton. Now the machine reading now, that is the scale of the machine, will be equals to 550 plus 110, and that will give us 660 newton. Now if 660 newton is the weight read by the machine, then the mass will be equals to the weight all over acceleration due to gravity, and that will be equals to 660 all over 10, and that will give us 66 kg. So the mass read by the weighing machine is 66 kg, and that is option A. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Physics Past Question 3. The charge carriers of gases are A. Ions only, B. Electrons and holes, C. Electrons only, and D. Electrons and ions. Now, gases will only conduct electricity under low pressure and very high potential difference. A typical example of a setup where gases conduct electricity is in the discharge tube. Now, at this condition, when the gas is set under a low pressure and a high potential difference, these gases break into ions. Now these ions might be negatively charged ions or positively charged ions, and also they break into free electrons. Now these ions and electrons are responsible for the what? For the carrying of electricity, or for the carrying of the charge of the gas. So therefore, the charge carrier of gases are ions and electron, and that is option D. Now, electron and holes are the basic carriers of semiconductors. The hole is the positive carrier, while the electrons are the negative charge. But for gases, it is electron and ions. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 4. Which of the following is not a vector quantity? A. Momentum, B. Force, C. Velocity, D. Temperature, and E. Displacement. Now, vector quantities are quantities that has both magnitude and direction. Example of vector quantities include the momentum. It's a vector quantity because if you look at the definition of momentum is a product of force and velocity, and momentum takes place in the direction of the force. So there's a direction. Also, we have force. Force is that which changes the state or the position of an object. So it deals with direction also. Then we have velocity. Velocity is defined as the rate of change of displacement with time. Then we also have displacement. Displacement is defined as the distance covered with specific or specified direction. Now you see that all these words has both magnitude and direction. But now looking at option D here that says temperature. Temperature is not a vector quantity. Temperature is a scalar quantity. Now scalar quantity do not have direction, but they have magnitude, and temperature is a scalar quantity. So temperature is the correct answer to this question because it is not a vector quantity. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. And welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 5. A real image of an object formed by a converging lens of focal length 15 cm is 3 times the size of the object. What is the distance of the object from the lens? Now, it is stated that the image is 3 times the object, that is V is equals to 3U. Now, since the image is a real image and it is formed by a converging lens, we can now say 1 over F, that's the focal length, is equals to 1 over U plus 1 all over V. Now remember that F, which is the focal length, is equals to 15 centimeter, and we are asked to find the distance of the object from the lens, which is U. Now 1 all over 15 is equals to 1 all over U plus 1 all over 3U. Remember V is equals to 3U, so this will give us 1 all over 15 is equals to, now the LCM here will be 3U square. U in 3U square will give us 3U plus 3U in 3U square will give us U. U times 1 will give us U. So now we'll be having 1 all over 15 is equals to 4U over 3U square. Now when we cross multiply, we'll have 3U square is equals to 60U. Divide both sides by 3U. 3U we cancel 3U here, giving us U, and U cancel U. 3 here 1, and 3 in 20 is equals to 3 in 60 is equals to 20. So therefore U is equals to 20 centimeter, and that is option C. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 6. Which of the following remain unchanged as light travels from one medium to another? Speed, wavelength, frequency. Now, let's establish the phenomenon known as refraction. When light travels from one medium to another, there are certain changes we see, and these changes are associated with what we call refraction. Now refraction is the bending of a light ray as it crosses the boundary between two media. This media now is the plural of media, it is between two medium of different densities. For example, when light travels from air to glass or from air to water. Now it is seen that when light travels from one medium to another, there are certain changes that occur. Now these changes that occur leads to the bending of the light ray that brings about refraction. It simply means that refraction is accompanied by some changes, and these changes include: 1, change in speed of the lights, and 2, change in wavelength of light, but the frequency remains unchanged. So the answer to this question is actually 3 only, and that is option C. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 8. The image in the pinhole camera is always A, diminished, B, enlarged, C, upright, D, inverted, and E, blurred. Now let's look at what a pinhole camera is. Now, a pinhole camera is just a simple setup, like in form of a box. A simple setup like this. A box is usually set up something like this. You have a box set up. Now a little or tiny hole will be given, and at the end of this other box, that is at this side, there will be a screen, like a white screen, where the image will be formed. Now when a small hole will be left here for the light rays to pass through. Let's say an object is placed and light ray will pass through this object and then form the image of this object on the screen inside the pinhole camera. Now the object formed by this pinhole camera, or the image formed by the pinhole camera, is always inverted because it is a real image. It's always inverted. The image formed by a pinhole camera is a real image. It's a real image. And this pinhole camera works on the principle that what light travels in a straight line. So that's the principle at which it works. That is the rectilinear motion of light. So it works on the principle that light travels in a straight line. Now the image formed is always real and inverted. It's real and inverted. Now the sharpness of this image depends on the size of this pinhole. If the size of the pinhole is big, the image will be blur, and if the size of the pinhole is small, the image will be sharp. So the answer to this question is option D, inverted. The image of a pinhole camera is always inverted because it is a real image. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 9. An object's weight is 10 Newton in air and 7 Newton in water. What is the weight when it immersed in a liquid of relative density of 1.5? Relative density, that is its density relative to that of water, which is 1.5. Now, the relative density of this liquid, relative density of liquid which is immersed, is equal to the weight of the object in the liquid all over the upthrust of this object. Now the relative density of this liquid is given to be 1.5, but we have to find the upthrust. Now upthrust is equals to the weight of objects in air, minus the weight of objects in water, and that is equals to 10 minus 7, which is equals to 3 Newton. Then we can now say, okay, that the relative density of the liquid, which is 1.5, is equals to the weight of the object in the liquid, which is what we're looking for. Let's call it W, all over the upthrust, which is equals to 3. That means W is equals to 3 times 1.5, which is equals to 4.5 Newton. So the weight of the object in the fluid is 1.5 Newton and 4.5 Newton, and that is option A. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics past question 10. A converging lens of focal length 5 cm forms a virtual image which is 10 cm from the lens. How far is the lens from the object? A. 2.0 cm, B. 3.3 cm, C. 5.0 cm, D. 10.0 cm, and E. 15.0 cm. Now we have a converging lens. A converging lens is a convex lens. This is a converging lens. Now, the focal length of this converging lens is 5 cm. F is equals to 5 cm, and it forms a virtual image. Now, this virtual image is 10 cm. That's V from the lens. We're now asked to find the object distance, which is U. Now, because this image is virtual, we're going to be using this formula: 1 over F is equals to 1 over U minus 1 over V, being a virtual image formed. Now, that is 1 all over 5 is equals to 1 over U minus 1 all over 10. 1 over 5 is equals to, now LCM will be 10U. U in 10U will give us 10. 10 times 1 will give us 10, minus 10 in 10U will give us U. U times 1 will give us U. Now cross multiplying, we'll have 10U is equals to 50 minus 5U. Collecting like terms, we'll have 15U is equals to 50. Now U will be equals to 50 all over 15, and so U is equals to 3.3 centimeter. So the object distance is 3.3 centimeter. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics past question 11. The count rate of an alpha particle source is 400 per minute. If the half-life of the source is 5 days, what would the rates be after 15 days? Now A says 20, that is 20 per minute. B says 25, C 50, D 200, and E 400. Now the count rate of this source of an alpha particle is 400 per minute, and the half-life, we call it T half, is equals to 5 days. So it simply means that in 15 days this source will have undergone 3 half-life. So in 15 days that will be equals to 2 raised to the power of 3, because it's 3 half-life, because 15 days is 15 divided by 5, that is give us 3, so that will be 2 raised to the power of 3. So in 15 days the source has undergone 3 half-life, and that 3 half-life is represented as 2 raised to the power of 3. Now, so therefore we can now say that in 15 days it will be equals to 400 divided by 2 raised to the power of 3, and that is equals to 400 divided by 8, which is equals to 50 per minute. So the count rate of this source will be 50 per minute after 15 days, because that's undergone 3 half-life. So the answer to this question is option C. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics past question 12. The nucleon number and the proton number of neutral atom of an element are 238 and 92 respectively. That is, the proton number is 238 and the nucleon number is 238 and the proton number is 92. What is the number of neutron in the atom? Now, like we know, the nucleon number here, when you hear of nucleon number, represents the atomic mass, or what you call the mass number or atomic mass, and it's represented as A, capital A. So we have capital A, and mass number, capital A, is equals to the number of proton, which we call Z, or atomic number, plus the number of neutron, which is N. So it simply means that 238 is equals to 92, which is the number of proton plus the number of neutron. Now from this we can get the number of neutron, that is N is equals to 238 minus 92, and that is equals to 146. So therefore the number of neutron in this atom is 146, and that is option C. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 13. What is electrical current? A. Rate of change of voltage. B. Rate of change of resistance. C. Rate of flow of charge. And D. Rate of flow of power. Now, electric current I. Electric current I is defined as the rate of flow of electric charge along a conductor. It simply means the rate of flow of electric charge through a conductor is known as electric current. So that is, electric current I is equals to Q, which is the charge, all over T, rate of flow of electric charge through a conductor. Now, electric current is measured. It is measured in amperes. It is measured in amperes, using the instrument called ammeter. So electric current is measured using ammeter, but very tiny electric current can be measured using a galvanometer. But the standard instrument for measuring electric current is an ammeter, and is measured in amperes. So electric current is defined as the rate of flow of electric charge, and that is option C. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 14. When an atom gains or loses a charge, it becomes A, an ion, B, an electron, C, a neutron, D, a proton, and E, a deuterium. Now for every given atom, the number of proton equals to the number of electron. But when an atom gains a charge, when it gains an electron, it becomes positively charged. And when it loses an electron, it becomes negatively charged. Now at this stage, it is no longer called an atom because it is now a charged particle. It is now called what? An ion. It is called an ion. So in other words, I will define an ion as a charged atom or a charged molecule. So ion simply refers to a charged atom or a charged molecule. So when there's an imbalance in the number of proton and electron, it is said that this atom is charged because the number of proton might either be more than or less than the number of electron, because the atom might have either lost or gained electron. So the answer to this question is actually option A. It becomes an ion. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 15. Beta particles are A, electrons, B, protons, C, neutrons, D, helium nuclei, and E, tritium nuclei. Now, when there's a radioactive radiation, or when there's a radiation, three particles are actually what's observed. We have the alpha particle, the beta particle, and then what we call the gamma rays. Now, each of these particles has its own characteristics. For alpha particle, it is positively charged. Alpha particle is positively charged and represented with what? A helium nuclei. It's represented by an helium nuclei. Now, beta particle is negatively charged and represented by an electron, E-1, 0. While gamma rays is neutral. Gamma rays is neutral. But now we're dealing with beta particles here. So beta particle is actually represented by what? By an electron. Beta particle is represented by an electron, which is what I have written here now. This is it here. It is represented as this, and it is a high energy electron which is strongly deflected in a magnetic field. So because it is negatively charged, it will be deflected in a magnetic field towards the north pole instead of the south pole as in the alpha particle. The beta particle will be Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 16. Which of the following has the shortest wavelength? A. Infrared, B. Gamma ray, C. Ultraviolet ray, D. Radio wave, and E. Visible light. Now, all these given to us are electromagnetic waves. We call them electromagnetic waves. That is, these waves do not require material medium for their propagation, and this wave has been brought out using what we call the electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic spectrum. Now, according to this electromagnetic spectrum, or based on the electromagnetic spectrum, the wave here that has the shortest wavelength is the gamma rays. The gamma rays has the shortest wavelength, and it has a very high penetrating power, and the wavelength of gamma ray is 10 raised to the power of -8 centimeter. Now, according to electromagnetic spectrum also, the wave with the longest or the largest wavelength is the radio wave, or what we call the TV wave. Radio or TV wave have the longest wavelengths of 10 raised to the power of 4 centimeters. So the answer to this question is option B, gamma rays. It has the lowest or the shortest wavelength, which is 10 raised to the power of -8 centimeter. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 17. The inability of the eye to focus near objects is known as A. Long sight, B. Astigmatism, C. Presbyopia, D. Glaucoma, and E. Short sight. Now, the inability of the eye to focus near objects simply means that it is unable, that is, the eye is unable to view close or nearby objects. In this case, the person is only able to view what? To view far objects. Only far objects will focus on the retina. Objects that are close to the viewer cannot be focused on the retina. And remember, the retina is where the image is formed. Now, in this condition, we call this condition long-sightedness. This condition is referred to as long-sightedness. Now, in this condition, the eyeball is shorter than normal. The eyeball is shorter than normal. And so close by objects will not be able to focus on the retina. And that name for long sightedness is what we call the hypermetropia. It is also known as hypermetropia. So, and that name for long sightedness is hypermetropia. So the object is unable to focus on the retina. Only far objects can be viewed. but nearby objects cannot be viewed, and this is corrected using the convex lens. The convex lens or the converging lens is used to correct what? Long-sightedness. So the answer to this question is option A. Now let's briefly look at the other options. Astigmatism here is a condition which we refer to as uneven curvature of the lens, uneven curvature of the cornea or lens. So it leads to what? Blur image, uneven curvature of lens or cornea. Now presbyopia here simply refers to the loss of power of accommodation. Now this presbyopia is common to old people, because they are unable now to focus on either near object or far object because they've lost the power of accommodation. Now the eye muscles, that is the rectal muscles, are weak, and so the power of accommodation is lost. It's common to old age. Then glaucoma in this case just simply refers to cloudy vision. Now this cloudy vision is due to the deposition of minerals in the eyes like proteins, and these proteins will cause cloudy vision of the eyes. Then short-sightedness is the opposite of long-sightedness. In short-sightedness, nearby objects can be seen clearly, but far objects cannot be seen. And in short-sightedness, the cause is that the eyeball is longer than normal, so the image is formed before the retina. But as in the case of long-sightedness, the image is formed after the retina. So short-sightedness cannot be what? Far objects cannot be seen, but nearby objects can be seen. And another name for short-sightedness is myopia. We call it myopia, and it's corrected using the concave lens, or what we call the diverging lens. So for our question, the answer is long-sightedness, option A. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 18. A ball is projected horizontally from the top of a hill with a velocity of 20 meters per second. If it reaches the ground 4 seconds later, what is the height of the hill? Now take acceleration due to gravity to be equal to 10 meters per second. Option A says 20 meters, B says 40 meters, C 80 meters, and D 160 meters. Now using S is equals to UT plus half AT square, but since we are dealing with gravity here, so it will be equals to S is equals to UT plus half GT square. So G, the acceleration due to gravity, is replacing acceleration because we are dealing with height. Now because we are dealing with height, which is a horizontal component due to gravity, we will not be using what? This UT. So we'll be using H is equals to half GT square, because we're trying to find the height of the hill. Remember, the ball was projected horizontally from the top of the hill. Now the height H will be equals to half multiplied by G, which is 10, multiplied by T square, and that is 4 square. So this is equals to half multiplied by 10 times 16. 10 times 16. So that means H is equals to half multiplied by 160, and that is equals to 160 all over 2, which is equals to 80 meters. So the height of the hill is 80 meters, and that is option C. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 19. If 21 gram of alcohol of density 0.7 gram per cm cube is mixed with 10 gram of water, what would be the density of the resulting mixture? A 780 gram per cm cube, B 0.78 gram per cm cube, C 30 gram per cm cube, and D 10 gram per cm cube. Now we know that density is given as mass all over volume. Now the density of alcohol is given to us as 0.7 gram per cm cube. Then the mass of alcohol is equals to 21 gram. So now we can get the volume of alcohol, since we know that density is equals to mass over volume. So volume will be equals to mass over density and so the volume of alcohol will be equals to the mass, which is 21 all over density, and that is 0.7, and that will give us 30 centimeter cube. So the volume of alcohol in the mixture is 30 cm cube. Now for water, the density of water is equal to 1 gram per cm cube. 1 gram per cm cube. Mass of water is equal to, that's in the mixture, is 10 grams. So now we can get the volume of water, and that will be the mass of water, which is 10 all over the density of water, which is 1, and that will give us 10 centimeter cube. Now we can now find the density of the mixture, because the mass of mixture will be equal to the sum of the mass of water and that of alcohol, and that will be 10 plus 21, which is equals to 31 grams. Then the volume of the mixture will be equals to the volume of water plus the volume of alcohol, and that will be 10 plus 30, which is equals to 40 centimeter cube. So the density of the mixture now, the density of the mixture will be equals to the mass of the mixture over the volume of mixture, and that is 31 all over 40, and that is equals to 0.78 gram per cm cube, which is option B. So this is the density of the resulting mixture. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 20 for a particle having an x coordinate that varies in time according to the expression x is equals to 40 minus 2t squared. The instantaneous velocity of the particle at t equals to 2.5 is A 12 meter per second, C 6 meter per second, that's B, C 0 meter per second, and D 10 meter per second. Now instantaneous velocity simply means the velocity at the instant of time, that is, it's the velocity of the particle when the time is exactly 2.5 seconds. Now we're given that the expression is given as x is equals to 4t minus 2t squared. Now for us to find this instantaneous velocity, we have to differentiate x with respect to t. Now that is the x dt. Now differentiating x in respect to t, that will give us, for 40 we are going to have 4, because like when you have y is equals to x raised to the power of n, the y dx is equals to nx raised to the power of n minus 1. So in this case, that would be the case also. T here is t raised to the power of 1, so t raised to the power of 1 minus 1 will give us t raised to the power of 0, and that is 1. So we're having 4 minus, now t raised to the power of 2 minus 1 will give us t raised to the power of 1, which is t, then 2 times 2 will give us 4. So we have the x dt, that's differentiating x with respect to t, we'll have 4 minus 4t. So we have 4 minus 4t. Now that is equals to, now t is equals to 2.5 seconds. So that will be 4 minus 4 multiplied by 2.5, and that is equals to 4 minus 10, and that will give us minus 6 meter per second. So the answer to this question is 6 meter per second, because this negative sign here is negligible. So the instantaneous velocity is equals to 6 meter per second, and that is option B. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 21. Which of the following is true for the image formed by a convex mirror? I, the image is always virtual. II, the image is always erect. III, the image is never magnified. And IV, the focal length is negative. Now, option A says I only is correct, that is statement 1 is correct. B says I and II only. C says II and III only. D says I and III only. And E says all of the above, that is all the statements above is correct. Now, a convex mirror is a type of curved mirror, and it is represented as this. Now, this is a convex mirror. Now, for an object formed by a convex mirror, let me illustrate it. If you have a convex mirror like this, and you have an object placed on the principal axis P, let's assume this is the object. Now, this is how the image will be formed. Let's assume this is the focal length, that's principal focus, and this is C. Now, image will be formed this way, and then now this is where the image will be located. This is the image formed by a convex mirror. Now, looking at this image, this is the object and this is the image. Now, looking at this image, you notice that what? Number one, the image is diminished. It's a very, very prominent feature, that it is smaller than the object. It is diminished. Now, two, the image is what? Is virtual. It is not real. The image cannot be caught on the screen. You can see the image is formed behind the mirror. The image is formed behind the mirror, so it is not a real image, it's a virtual image. Another thing is that the image is what? Is erect. It is not inverted. The image is erect. Now, because of this, we can also say that what? The focal length of a convex mirror is negative, because it produces what? A virtual image. So it has a negative focal length. Now, looking at the statements given to us, the first statement says that the image is always virtual, and that is correct. We've established it because what? It cannot be caught on the screen. It is formed behind the mirror. The image is erect, yes, just like we've seen. It is correct. The image is never magnified, yes, it is not magnified. This is the image. It is diminished. It is diminished, so it is never magnified, so it is also correct. And then the focal length is negative, that is correct. So looking at this, all the statements above are actually correct, making option E the answer to this question. All of the above are correct. So thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day, and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 physics past question 22. Which of the following is true? The reading of the pressure of a mercury diameter, that is talking about mercury in glass thermometer, is independent of A, the cross-sectional area of the tube, B, the atmospheric pressure of the tube, C, the density of the mercury, D, the temperature of mercury, and E, the acceleration due to gravity. Now, the pressure measured by a mercury in glass thermometer, 1, depends on the density of mercury. Depends on the density of mercury. Now, this can be derived from the formula that says P is equals to H rho G. Now, this rho here represents what? Density of mercury. Now, it also depends on what? It depends on the acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. And it can also be affected by the temperature of mercury. Remember, we are using to measure temperature, so the mercury of temperature will also affect what? The pressure of the mercury. So temperature of mercury, then it is also affected by what? By the cross-sectional area of the tube. Cross-sectional area of tube. Now, it is not affected by the atmospheric pressure. The pressure of mercury diameter is not affected by what? By the atmospheric pressure of the tube, making option B the answer to this question, because it is independent. It simply means that it is not affected by this. So option B, the atmospheric pressure of the tube, is the correct answer to the question. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. And welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 physics past question 23. In electrolysis experiment, a cathode of mass 5 grams is found to weigh 5.01 gram. After a current of 5 amperes flow for 50 seconds, what is the electrochemical equivalent of the deposited substance? Now, A says 0.00004, B says 0.00002, C says 0.25, D says 0.05, and E says 0.0001 gram per column. Now, with something that's doing an electrolysis, mass is always deposited at the cathode. Now, M, the mass deposited, is equals to the electrochemical equivalent, which is Z, multiplied by the currents flowing, then multiplied by the time at which the currents flow. Now, the mass given here is said to be 5.01. That is the mass of the cathode after the experiments. It simply means that if the cathode has a mass of 5, the mass deposited, which is M, is equals to 5.01 minus 5, and that is equals to 0.01 grams. Now, from this we have that Z is equals to M all over IT, which is equals to 0.01 all over. Now, the current is 5 multiplied by this time, which is 50 seconds, and this is equals to 0.01 all over 250, and this is equals to 0.00004 gram per column. This is the answer to this question, and that is option A. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 25. A weight of 1000 grams hangs from a lever 20 centimeters to the right of the fulcrum. At the left is 500 gram weight 20 centimeters from the fulcrum and 200 gram weight x centimeter from the fulcrum. Now, what is the value of x that will make the lever balance? And let's assume we have a fulcrum like this. We have something like this, and this is a fulcrum. Now, on the right hand side, let's take here to be our right. On the right hand side, we have a mass of 1000 grams. 1000 grams hanging 20 centimeters from the fulcrum. That means from here to here is 20 cm. Then on the right, okay, let's take this our right now. So on the left now, we have 500 grams, 20 centimeters also. Let's assume this is 500 grams, 20 centimeters also from the fulcrum. And then we have another one which is 200 gram. Another one which is 200 gram. Let's assume it is here, 200 grams. Now we are asked to calculate what its distance, which is x, from the fulcrum. Now, since we are trying to balance this lever, it simply means that the weights multiplied by the distance at the right hand side, which is, let's call it d1, is equals to the weights, the sum total of the weights multiplied by the distance in the in the other side, which is the left hand side. So that will be let's call it w2 multiplied by d2 plus w3 multiplied by d3. Now this d3 here is our x, which is what we're looking for. We have w1 to be 1000, so that will be 1000 multiplied by d1, which is 20, is equals to w2 is 500 multiplied by d2, which is 20, then plus w3, we said it is 200, now multiplied by x, which we don't know, that is the d3. Now 1000 times 20 will give us 20,000. So 20,000 is equals to 500 times 20 will give us 10,000, plus 200 times x will give us 200x. Now collecting like terms, we'll have 200x is equals to 20,000 minus 10,000. So 200x is equals to 10,000. Now x will be equals to 10,000 all over 200, and that will be equals to 50 centimeter. So the value of x, which is the distance of the mass or the 200 gram weight from the fulcrum, is 50 centimeter, and that is option A. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 26. A magnetic needle is suspended first at the Earth's north magnetic pole and at a point on the magnetic equator. The respective angle between the needle and the horizontal are 0 degree and 0 degree, 60 degree and 0 degree, 90 degree and 90 degree, D 90 degree and 0 degree, E 0 degree and 90 degree. Now looking at this, when we're talking about the angle between the Earth's magnetic pole, no, any point at the equator to the horizontal, we're trying to talk about the angle of dip. Now angle of dip is defined as, angle of dip is the angle between the direction of Earth's resultant magnetic field and the horizontal, and this is angle of dip. So you are actually basically asking us to find the angle of dip between the Earth's magnetic pole and the horizontal, and that of the magnetic equator to the horizontal. Now angle of dip is 90 degree at the magnetic pole of the Earth. That is, be it north or south, it is 90 degree as the magnetic pole of the Earth, and it is 0 degree as the magnetic equator. Now remember, all this is to the horizontal. So now from the question, we are asked for what? North magnetic pole and magnetic equator respectively. So that will be 90 degree and 0 degree respectively. And I think that is option D. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 27. Which of the following is not a vector quantity? A. Force, B. Altitude, C. Width, D. Displacement, E. Acceleration. Now, vector quantity are quantities that has both magnitude and direction. Vector quantities are quantities that has both what? They have both magnitude and direction. Now, unlike the scalar quantity has only magnitude but no direction. An example of vector quantities include force, weight, displacement, acceleration. Now all these quantities has magnitude and they also have direction. They have direction at which they act. But now option B says altitude. Altitude here simply represents height, and height can also be represented as length. And like you know, length or distance is a scalar quantity. It's a scalar quantity. It has no direction, but it has magnitude. So option B is the correct answer to this question. It is not a vector quantity. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 28. A man of mass 50 kg ascends a flight of stairs 5 meters high in 5 seconds. Now, if acceleration due to gravity g is equal to 10 meters per second square, find the power of the man. A says 100 watts, B 200 watts, C 250 watts, D 400 watts, and E 500 watts. Now remember, power is defined as the rates of doing work, or you can say power is the time rate at which work is done. Now power P is equals to work done all over time taken, and like you know, work done is equals to force times distance all over, then power is equals to force times distance over time. This force times distance here represents work done, and this is also equals to mgh all over time. Now looking at this, I think this mgh over t will be more suitable for this calculation. So P is equals to mgh all over T, and that is equals to mass, which is 50, times g, which is 10, times the height, which is 5, all over the time, which is 5 seconds. 5 cancel 5, so we have 5 times 10 to give us 500 watts. So the power is 500 watts, and that is option E. Thank you, and ensure subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 29. A body rolls down a slope from a height of 100 meters. Its velocity at the foot of the slope is 20 meters per second. What percentage of its essential potential energy is converted to kinetic energy? Now A says 40%, B 35%, C 20%, and D 15%. Now remember that before the body rolls down the slope, it possesses a potential energy, and like we say potential energy is the energy possessed by a body by its virtue of position. Now this potential energy is converted to kinetic energy that enables the body to roll down the slope, and kinetic energy, we say, is the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion. Now potential energy has been converted to kinetic energy, but we want to know the amount or the percentage of potential energy that has been converted into kinetic energy. So we can simply equate potential energy PE to the kinetic energy, and potential energy is mgh and Ke is half mv square. So from this, mass can cancel mass since we're dealing with the same body, so we have gh is equals to half v square. Now g is acceleration due to gravity, which is 10, multiplied by the height, which is 100, is equal to half multiplied by v square, and v is 20, so 20 square. So from this we have that 1000 is equals to half multiplied by 400, so 1000 is equals to 200. So it simply means that the potential energy is 1000. Now out of this 1000 joules of potential energy, 200 joules was converted to what? To kinetic energy. So it simply means that the percentage of potential energy converted to kinetic energy is equals to kinetic energy over potential energy multiplied by 100, and that is equals to 200 all over 1000 multiplied by 100, and that is equals to 20%. So 20% of potential energy has been converted successfully into kinetic energy that enables the body to roll down the slope. So the answer to the question is option C, 20%. Thank you, and ensure subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 30. An object is placed 15 cm in front of a concave mirror of radius 40 cm. The image formed is... Now we want to know the characteristics of the image formed by a concave mirror which is placed 15 cm in front of this concave mirror. Now we are given the radius of curvature of this mirror to be 40 cm. So radius of curvature r is equals to 4 cm. Now remember that relation that says that f focal length is equals to r radius of curvature all over 2, and that is equals to 40 over 2, which is equals to 20 centimeters. So it simply means that the focal length of this mirror, concave mirror, is 20 centimeter. So it simply means that the object is placed 15 centimeter in front of the concave mirror. That is, it is placed before the focal length, that is before the principal focus, because the point of the focal length is known as the principal focus. So it simply means that the object was placed in front of the principal focus. Now any object placed in front of the principal focus that is of a concave mirror has the following characters. It has the following characteristics. Number one is that it will be formed behind the mirror. Number two, it will be virtual. Number three, it will be erect. And number four, it will be magnified. Now these are the characteristics of an image formed when an object is placed before the principal focus. Now since we know this, let's now find the distance of the image from the mirror, given that the focal length is 20 cm and the image of the object is 15 cm. So we have that 1 all over 5, 1 all over 20, which is the focal length, is equals to 1 over 15 plus 1 all over v, which is the image distance. So from this we can see 1 over 20 is equals to now the LCM here will be 15v. 15 in 15v will give us v, plus v in 15v will give us 15. So we have that 1. Okay, now let's cross multiply. When we cross multiply, we have that 15v is equals to 20v plus 300. So collecting like terms, 15v, we have 15v minus 20v is equals to 300. So we have minus 5v is equals to 300. Now v will be equals to 300 all over minus 5, and that is equals to minus 60 centimeter. This negative sign here just simply shows that what the image is virtual. It corresponds with what I said earlier on, that the image is virtual. That's the significance of this negative sign. So the distance of the object of the image from the concave mirror is 60 centimeter. Now combining this answer with what I've explained, you see that option A is the correct answer, because I told you that the image will be virtual and it will be formed behind the mirror, and now we've discovered that the image distance is 60 centimeter. So option A is the right answer to this question, virtual 60 centimeter behind the mirror. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 31. A 45-degree triangular glass prism can be used as a good reflector of light because A. Refraction never takes place in such a prism. B. The angle of reflection equals the angle of incidence. C. The refractive index of the glass is less than 1. D. It is transparent. And E. The critical angle for the glass is less than 45 degree. Is less than 45 degree. Now, a 45-degree triangular glass prism is a good reflector. It's a very good reflector of light, and you can see that it is applied in periscope. It is used in the periscope, and it is also used in what we call the prism binoculars. Now this 45-degree triangular glass prism is able to reflect light totally, or is a good reflector of light because when light strikes it, the incident light strikes it at an angle of 45 degree. That is, the incident angle is at 45 degree. And looking at this incident angle, which is at 45 degree, is higher than the critical angle of glass. Now critical angle of glass is said to be, that C is said to be 42 degree. Now because the incident angle of this 45 triangular glass prism, whenever it strikes this glass prism, it's always form an incident angle of 45 degree. Now because this angle 45 degree is higher than the critical angle of glass, the entire light will be totally reflected to give a reflected ray having an angle of also what 45 degrees. So the reflected angle will also be 45 degree. It will be totally what reflected. That's what we call total internal reflection. That is because as the incident light strikes the glass prism and form an angle of 45 degree, that is the incident angle of 45 degree, which is higher than the critical angle, the total light will be what's totally reflected, and we give a reflected angle of 45 degree. So the answer to this question is option E, because the critical angle for the glass is less than 45 degree, which is the angle of incidence and also the angle of reflection. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 32. A convex mirror is used as a driving mirror because 1. Its image is erect. 2. It has a large field of view. 3. It has a long focal length. Now we are asked to identify the correct statement. Now, A convex mirror is used as a driving mirror because of the following reasons. Number one, because it gives an erect image. It gives an erect image of an object. And it gives erect image of an object behind the driver. So it enables the driver to see objects behind him, and it gives this object as erect image. Now, another reason is that it has a wide field of view. Now, convex mirror provides the driver with a wide field of view so that he can have a very wide range of view of objects behind him. And that is why you notice that the size of objects and the image is not always equal because of this wide field of view. The object appears closer and smaller than normal. So these are the two benefits or the two reasons why convex mirror is used as driving mirror. And looking at this statement, it's agree with statement 1 and statement 2. Therefore I and II is correct, and that is option B. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 33. An electric cell has an internal resistance of 20 ohms. A current of 0.5 amperes is found to flow when a resistor of 50 ohms is connected across it. What is the electromotive force of the cell? That is, what is the EMF of the cell? And it is given that EMF, electromotive force, is equals to the current multiplied by the sum of the resistance plus the internal resistance. So therefore EMF is equals to the current, which is 0.5 amperes, multiplied by the resistance, which is 50 ohms, plus the internal resistance, which is 20 ohms, and that is equal to 0.5 multiplied by 70, which is equals to 35 volts. So the EMF of the cell is equals to 35 volts, and that is option B. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 34. Light of frequency 6.0 times 10 to the power 14 Hz traveling in air is transmitted through glass of refractive index 1.5. Calculate the frequency of the light in the glass. A says 4 times 10 to the power 14 Hz, B 6.0 times 10 to the power 14 Hz, C 7.5 times 10 to the power 14 Hz, and D 9.0 times 10 to the power 14 Hz. Now, when a ray of light travels from air to glass, for instance, let's assume we have a glass like this, and it's the ray of light, let's assume this is normal, travels from air. This is air and this is glass. Now, because the light is traveling from a less density medium, which is the air, to a higher density medium, which is the glass, the light will be refracted towards the normal ray, which is called refraction. Refraction is defined as a change in direction or change in velocity of the light's wave. Now, because this light is refracted, because it passes from a less dense medium to a denser medium, which is the glass, now it will be refracted. Now, there are certain changes that occurs to this light. One, there will be a change in speed of the light. There will be a change in wavelength, and there will be a change in direction. But one thing will not change, and that is the frequency. The frequency of the light will never change, no matter the medium at which it crosses. So frequency remains the same. So no matter the refractive index of the glass, the frequency of the light will remain the same in the glass. And like we are given here, the frequency of the light is 6.0 times 10 to the power 14 Hz. So also it will be in the glass 6.0 times 10 to the power 14 Hz. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 35. An object is placed in front of a converging lens, that's a convex lens of focal length 20 cm. The image is virtual and has a magnification of 2. What is the distance of the object from the lens? Now, it is noted that the image is virtual, so it simply means v is equals to 2u, because we are told that it has a magnification of 2, so the image is twice the object. Now, because the image is virtual, we'll be using this formula: 1 over f is equals to 1 over u minus 1 over v. So 1 all over 20 is equals to 1 over u minus 1 over 2u, because they said v is equals to 2u. Now 1 over 20 is equals to, LCM will be 2u squared. So 1 over 20, u in 2u squared will give us 2u, minus 2u into u squared will give us u. So we have 1 over 20 is equals to u all over 2u squared. Now when you cross multiply, you have 20u is equals to 2u squared. So divide both sides by 2u. 2u here 1, 2u here will give us 10, 2u here 1, 2u here will give us u. So u is equals to 10 centimeter. So the answer to this question, or the object distance from the converging lens, is 10 centimeter, and that is option B. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 36. Which of the following statements is correct? A silvered wall of a vacuum flask is used to prevent A. Heat loss due to conduction, B. Vacuum loss, C. Heat entry into the flask due to convection, D. Heat loss due to radiation, and E. Heat loss due to convection. Now, a vacuum flask is also known as a thermoflask. This flask is built in such a way as to reduce heat loss or heat gain via the 3 means of heat propagation, which is the conduction, convection, and radiation. Now, this thermoflask has a vacuum. That's why it is called, another name for thermoflask is the vacuum flask. It has a vacuum. Now, this vacuum between the double wall of this vacuum flask is used to prevent, the vacuum prevents heat loss or gain by conduction and convection. Now it also have a cork, what you call the cork stopper. The cork stopper prevents heat loss by convection or evaporation. Then it has a shining polished silver wall. Now this silvered wall helps to prevent heat loss by radiation. Now looking at the question, it says a silvered wall of a vacuum flask is used to prevent radiation, heat loss due to radiation, which is option D. Now this is because the silvered wall is not a good radiant. It does not radiate heat because it is polished and shining, and like you know, shining surface do not radiate heat, so it is a very poor radiant of heat. That is why it is used to prevent what? Heat loss due to radiation. So option D is the right answer to this question. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 37. The point beyond which a stretched spring does not return to its original length is called A. Breaking point, B. Elastic limit, C. Spring constant, D. Elasticity point, and E. Release point. Now, for an elastic material such as the spring, which is an elastic material, we have what we call the elastic limit of an elastic material. Now, elastic limits can be defined as the limit of force beyond which the stretched material, like the spring, beyond which the stretched spring does not return to its original length when the stretching force is removed. Now this is elastic limit. Now after the elastic limit, we have what we call the yield point. At this yield point, the elastic material loses its elasticity completely and becomes plastic. Now after this yield point, the next will be what we call the breaking point. At this breaking point, this elastic material begins to break. It begins to break. That's the point beyond the yield point. So at elastic limit, once elastic limit is exceeded, it is expected that this material or the substance do not return back to its original length. Like the spring now, once the spring is stretched above its elastic limits, it will not return back to its original length, although it will return but not to its original length anymore. Then once it gets to the yield point, it will lose all its elasticity completely and becomes a plastic, and after that the breaking point is breaks. So the answer to this question is actually option B, elastic limits, and not breaking point. So at elastic limits, even when the stretching force is being removed, once it is exceeded, it will not return back to its original length. Thank you, and you should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Jamb 2020 Physics past question 39. Which of the following arrangements in the sentence below can be used to obtain a pure spectrum of white light? A. Source, slit, converging lens, prism, converging lens and screen, in that order. B. Source, slit, diverging lens, prism, diverging lens and screen, in the order. Source, converging lens, prism, diverging lens, screen, and D is source, slit, diverging lens, converging lens and screen. Now, to produce a pure spectrum, what we mean by a pure spectrum, that is the spectrum in which, so I'm briefly describing a pure spectrum. A pure spectrum is a spectrum in which the colors are clearly separated, or distinct from each other. That is, the various components or the various color components of light are what are clearly separated or distinct from each other. Now, to obtain a pure spectrum of white light, the setup is in the following order. 1, we have the source of light, followed by the slit that provides the tiny aperture for the passage of the light. Then the converging lens will be the next. The converging lens. Then we have the triangular prism, followed by, after the triangular prism, we have another converging lens, or what we call the convex lens, converging lens, and then finally we have the screen where the pure spectrum will be observed. And the setup is in this format. You have the source of light, let's assume it's a source of light, then having the aperture, that's the slit. Now we have a converging lens, then the triangular prism, another converging lens, and then finally the screen. Now the ray of light will go in this format. This is the ray of light in this format. Then from the converging lens, it will hit the triangular prism like this, and then come out this way. From this converging lens also, it will go, and then the light will be split into its various components. And this is how a pure spectrum is observed. So the answer to this question is option A, the source of the light, the slit, the first converging lens, a prism, the second converging lens, and the screen. So option A is the right answer to the question. Thank you, and ensure subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Jamb 2020 Physics Past Question 40. The mechanical advantage MA of an inclined plane depends on A. its length, B. its height, C. the product of its length and height, D. the ratio of its length to its height. Now we have an inclined plane. Let's assume this is an inclined plane. Now this is the distance that will be moved by the object, or what you call the load. Distance moved by load. Let's assume this is the load. Here is O, here is B, and here is A. Now this is the length, and this is the height, the distance moved by the effort. Now looking at this, you'll see that the velocity ratio of an inclined plane is given as the length, that's distance moved by the object, which is the length, all over distance moved by effort, which is the height. Now velocity ratio is given as length over height, and mechanical advantage of an inclined plane is dependent, or depends on the velocity ratio. Now since mechanical advantage depends on velocity ratio, it simply means that the mechanical advantage depends on the ratio of length to the height of inclined plane, which represent the velocity ratio, because efficiency of a machine or inclined plane is given as mechanical advantage all over velocity ratio multiplied by 100. It simply means that mechanical advantage MA is equals to the efficiency multiplied by the velocity ratio all over 100. So you can see that it depends on the velocity ratio, and velocity ratio is equivalent to the length over height. So the answer to this question is option D. Mechanical advantage of an inclined plane depends on the ratio of its length to its height, which represents the velocity ratio, because mechanical advantage depends on the velocity ratio. Thank you, and ensure to subscribe to our channel for more